Hey everyone, Ben the Bar Guy, back with another video to help you make better drinks, and today we're adding to our drink library. We're gonna have the Vieux Carre, classic Manhattan variation that everyone should know, and you're gonna impress your friends at dinner parties if you can make it for sure. So sit back and relax, and let's learn how to make better drinks. All right everyone, this is the Vieux Carre. A little history on the Vieux Carre. It is a New Orleans cocktail through and through. So why is it called the Vieux Carre? Well, Vieux Carre is French for Old Square. And in New Orleans, the Old Square was the French Quarter. The French didn't particularly call it the French Quarter. That would have been strange. They called it the Old Square. It was invented at the Hotel McElhone by a head bartender named Walter Bergeron. And the Hotel McElhone and its Carousel Bar are well known. Highly recommend checking it out. Now this drink is really a variation on the Manhattan with some uniquely French / New Orleans ingredients. The first substitution from a Manhattan, which we would make 2 ounces of rye and 1 vermouth, is that it still uses the rye whiskey, which would have been coming down the Mississippi River to New Orleans, but adds cognac, which would have been probably shipped from France and would have been available particularly in New Orleans. And so they're combining the two. They also use a really unique New Orleans Peychaud's bitters, which is the first bitters that was ever produced. So these bitters must be used in the Vieux Carre, in my estimation, just if you're being true to the recipe at all. One little side note, however, is that I tend to think that dark spirits work much better with Angostura bitters. Angostura bitters are made in Trinidad and Tobago, and particularly with dark spirits, the Angostura bitters have warm, that allspice note. It just tends to be a little darker as a bittering agent. And so when I make this drink, I combine Peychaud's and Angostura, and you'll find that that works pretty well. We keep to the 2-to-1 Manhattan spec, but we're splitting the rye with cognac, so it's really a 1-1-1, similar to the Negroni spec. The finishing touch on this cocktail is a beautiful rinse, Benedictine. It is a nice touch. You can also just add it to the drink, maybe just a 1/4 ounce into the drink and stir it in if you don't like the rinse. At my bars, we use liquid nitrogen to chill glasses. The glass gets so cold that Benedictine will freeze to the glass, and that's a really good way to rinse drinks. But if you don't have that or don't want to keep it in your freezer somehow so it really glues itself to the glass, I would just sort of integrating it in with a little scant 1/4 ounce of Benedictine. Benedictine is made by monks, Silent Order monks in France. So yet again, another French ingredient added to this New Orleans classic. It wasn't invented till the 1930s, so we're talking about post-prohibition. It's not quite as old as Manhattan, and it certainly would have post-dated things like the Negroni. So let's get to it. First off, there's a couple choices you can make. I love making this drink down on the rocks, and so when we make drinks, you're certainly welcome to stir in a stirring glass with this drink and strain it over rocks. You also can simply build right on the rock if you'd like. And when we build stirred drinks down, I tend to like to leave a little more alcohol forward taste because we don't want to stir too much water into a down drink. The guest is sort of telling you that they prefer their water to be held back so that they get to choose when they enjoy their cocktail. So when we make a drink down, we really like to stir a little less water into it. We build right on the rock. Okay, so step one, we have a nice cold glass, and we are an ice last methodology teacher. So this is an exception to the rule. Generally, I would say build your drink in a glass like this and build the whole thing and don't put anything on ice. But in this case, we're really not gonna stir this very long in the glass. So what I'm gonna do is build the drink right on the ice. This is an exception to the rule where we're building a drink down, building right on the rocks. We call this built in the glass. The first step is I only have these molds right now instead of the usual cubes I would have. So I'm gonna trim it just a touch, and I'm just gonna make it so that 2 fit neatly, and we're gonna build on top of 2 cubes. The more ice, the better. When we're gonna always start with our bitters. This is Peychaud's. I've just put it into a bitters dropper. We're splitting the bitters. The typical amount of bitters is about 2 to 3 mils. We're gonna split it with Peychaud's and Ango, so cut both in half. Don't use double, a few drops each. That's the beginnings of our Manhattan variation here. Now we're gonna use vermouth. I'm using Gallo here today. It's kind of grown on me, these vermouths from Gallo. Not only are they very cost effective, but I like how mild they are and they don't stand out as much in drinks. They kind of just blend in. Now you may like big Italian vermouths and vermouths that stand out, things like Carpano, Antica formula. You may consider cutting down on the amounts that you're using just because they're so powerful they can dominate the drink. So it's a little aggressive in my mind. This is Bullet Rye. Bullet Rye gets their product from Midwestern Grain Products in Lawrenceville, Indiana. It's a very solid 95.5 rye that you can't go wrong with. And then we're gonna do a little cognac. Ideally, you would wanna get a cognac, if you can, that's a little higher proof to keep the proof of the spirits up so that you have a little bit more balanced cocktail that doesn't get diluted. But in this case, it's gonna be all right to use Hein at 80 proof and Bullet Rye at a little higher proof. The average is gonna be okay. I always enjoy a paddle spoon, link in description if you wanna find one of these from Cocktail Kingdom. The paddle is really convenient for drinks just like this. Okay, we're just gonna stir to combine. We added the Benedictine already. We didn't rinse the glass because I think I want it more incorporated in this case. All right, traditionally, it's gonna be garnished with a lemon twist. We use a Y peeler for that. Make sure your fingers are off on the other side of the lemon, the other hemisphere of the lemon as you're cutting. And I like to go across like this, okay? Not straight down. Gives you a little longer peel. You express facing the peel to the glass, to the cocktail, and you just get a little spritz over it, okay? And you'll see it shimmer right over the glass. You just gotta pinch, okay? Pinch, and it'll squeeze it out. And here we have it, folks. Feel free to garnish as well with a cherry, maybe an orange twist. I always like oranges on Manhattans, but lemon twist is gonna brighten it up. Gives you an excellent version of this cocktail. I hope you guys enjoy it. And until next time, guys, to better drinks. Cheers.